Jim? Are you on this frequency? Jim, are you out there? I'm at the rendezvous. It's all clear here. I've been thinking about what you said. There's something dark in me, Jim. I need you. I need you to hear me right now.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this news. Notorious rebel Jim Raynor was captured in a daring raid yesterday. He was briefly interrogated and summarily executed. Emperor Mengsk had this to say.
Proud Dominion citizens, at long last our nightmare is over. The lawless terrorist James Raynor is dead. With his death comes a new era of peace. The Protoss have retreated from our dominion, and the Zerg threat has been removed. Their swarm is shattered and leaderless. Soon, we will eradicate every last Zerg on Char. In short, we have won. Our peace and security is assured. Good night, my faithful subjects.
Mengsk.
Navigation online. Destination Zerg space. Confirm.
Confirmed.
Hello everybody, this is Ghost Hunter 385. I am back with more StarCraft 2, another topic and more commentary for everybody. I do apologize about all the cinematics, but this should be the last video like this, where I have the cinematic up front, and then I roll into everything, you know, maybe 2-3 minutes later. This should be the last of that because of how hard the swarm is set up. It's set up the story's set up differently than Wings of Liberty. I apologize if that bugged anybody, but if you like what I do, look down. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, folks. It would do me wonders. Thank you very much. But technical stuff aside, note stuff aside, and we are ready to get into the topic. And today's topic, can't talk today, is ethnicism. Now people will sit there and say, ethnicism? What is ethnicism? Basically, I'm saying racism. Now people will sit there and say, racism? Why are you calling it ethnicism? Because in biology, if you study enough, all humans belong to the species of Homo sapien, which also belongs to the family of most people call it the family of great apes, or Homo erectus, or those who walk upright, you could say. Now, people will sit there and say, okay, thanks for the biology lesson, Ghost Hunter, but what does this have to do with race? There's no such thing as race. Race would be, I don't know, elves, dwarves, humans, hobbits, halflings, whatever, Aaron Cockrow, whatever. You know, just listing D&D races here, dragonborn dragons. You know, I'm just listing these things to give you an idea of my thought process here. Basically, I'm saying there's outside of, someone discovering elves the next day, there is no difference between most human beings. Now, ethnically, there is differences because ethnically, some people have different genetic traits.
It is the
And
organism
each of
from which
these
it demands
different
the storm,
genetic
and
traits
this is its nerve center.
all
And it can take me to any
mean
world I
something.
wish.
Now, what
Of
do
course,
these
my
things
queen,
all
but our numbers are
mean?
few.
It just
Before
means
conquering other worlds,
where you
may
came
wish to
from,
reclaim your
blah blah
forces
blah blah
here on
blah.
Calder.
Some may have a bigger nose,
Leave the
some have
strategy to
more
me.
melanin in their skin,
Now, what else can I do in
others
this
may
divide?
have
You can
eyes
evolve
a
and
different
upgrade
way,
your sword
some
in
may
the
have a rounder
evolution pit.
forehead.
The creature
You know, it's
Abathur
all
can help
ethnic,
you.
where your heritage is from. Beyond that, there's not really much difference here. Now, I could sit here, some people say, oh, Ghost Hunter, you're disregarding the experiences of Native Americans, Black,
Slipped off into those ice
Hispanic,
valleys. That must be where
Latino,
the Protoss are.
and the list can go on. Look, I'm not saying there aren't nasty, bad people out there who will make fun of you for your slightest difference, just like any elementary school would. I mean, if you guys don't recall, in elementary school, if you didn't fit in with the whole group on a whole, guess what? You were the outcast. And if you were the outcast, oh boy, was that a fun life, being shunned by everybody in your grade. Yeah, I can relate. Look, the point is that there's no difference between humanity on the very basic genetic level. Now, I'm pretty sure a couple people I know, like the Emperor, would disagree. He would say, of course there's differences, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm not going to say and pretend I know what the Emperor is going to completely say, but I do know what, I do have an inkling of what he might say. And we'd probably go back and forth, and, you know, we'd probably come somewhere to a middle ground at some point. Maybe. But the point is there's no difference. Now I can say here, some people saying, oh, do you know what happened to me because I'm black? Yeah. Gee, let's think about that for just a minute. You're telling me that black people aren't their own worst enemy in a way? Ghost Hunter, you can't say that. That's so wrong. Really? It's so wrong to sit there and say that you're your own worst enemy? Now, some people might sit there and be like, okay, Ghost Hunter, say how black people are their worst own enemy. Well, one, most black people will attack another black person for wanting a better life. I heard the story that Will Smith had to hide his school books and his schoolwork in pizza boxes so he wouldn't get jumped for wanting a better life or for wanting white things. Even though that incorporating different things in your lifestyle could actually make it better. I mean, come on, think about that one for a minute. To better yourself as whiteness? How about bettering yourself so that way you could change the public image of your ethnicity, so that way when someone sees a black man walking down the street, it's like, oh, that's just, oh, look, it's just Tony. Hey, Tony, how you doing? You walk right by. Or would you prefer, oh, shoot, there's Big T. What's Big T doing today? He's walking his dog Charlie, for Pete's sake. See, this is the difference. There's the image that the media has put out, and then there's the real deal. You know, as another example there. But you know, it's also the fact that black people do that to themselves. Now, I gotta hear some people saying, oh, Ghost Hunter, we know you're just being racist. I'm not. I'm sitting here saying, wait a minute. If this is a true story, let's just say, for example, the Will Smith thing is a true story, then doesn't that mean that black people are setting themselves up for failure? Because, oh my gosh, it's kind of a pain, it's kind of a problem that, oh, I don't know, that you who make up this ethnicity are setting up this problem for yourselves? Don't you think that's a bit, oh, I don't know, doing it to yourself, hypocritical, even narcissistic
Flash freeze
to a
is
degree?
passing.
Let's get this over with.
But the point is that if you drag each other down, you're not doing yourselves any favors. You're only proving the stereotype right. So why don't you do the world a favor and actually do better and better yourselves? But the white man is holding me down. The only person who's holding you down first and foremost is yourself. Second are the stigmas attached to your ethnicity. Hello? Now, people will sit there and say, well, what about white people? They're the problem. They always ruin black events. Now, that's a load of malarkey. On Pierce Morgan, there was a woman who was justifying a blackout writing of a play, which was a play that was written for black people. It was a play written by black people, by a black writer, written for a black audience, and they didn't allow anyone who was white or Caucasian to even remotely, didn't even want to see the darn play. And the woman sitting there justifying that this isn't racist, and then when Pierce Morgan turns around and says, hey, wait a minute, if I
They
went
are my queen.
and had a white writer write a play featuring all things for white people, and it was a whiteout event, isn't that racist? She's like, oh yeah, that's absolutely racist. So then how is a blackout event not racist? She actually had to pause and think about it before she just sat there and tried to justify her thought process. And it was not good how she did it. She basically said because it's white, it's bad. And because it's black, it's good. It's okay because we're black.
Nothing stands in my
And
way.
because the other one was, and because for the other one they were white, it was bad.
This world is mine.
That was her justification.
Let's get this over with.
And it made her look, it makes her and her beliefs look so bad, it's not even funny. Now some people might sit there and say, oh yeah, what about Latinos? They've been given a raw deal. You know, considering the fact that, once again, these people do this to themselves.
Push ahead.
I mean, how many times do you hear on the
Nothing
news
stands in my
of
way.
these the people who
The
come
swarm never
up
rests.
to the U.S.-Mexico border and they're like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah. we want this, we want that," and it's like,
Let's get this over with.
So let me get this straight. You're coming here to work without going through the proper channels
Get going.
just to work, so that way you can get paid
Get this
for
over with.
unskilled labor, skilled
There's not much
labor,
time.
whatever labor you're providing
Nothing
at,
stands
oh,
in
I
my
don't know,
way.
a Home Depot, and blubbity blubbity blubbity
Push
blah,
ahead.
and you know and you're sending at least 70-60% of that money back down to your family in Mexico or wherever you're from.
Flash freeze storm
Isn't
is
that a
raging.
bit of, oh, wait a minute, you're
Get
not
going.
coming here to pay taxes and to work. You're coming here to basically
This
take
world is
money
mine.
and then go back home
Nothing
after
stands in my way.
you don't need to be in the United
Get
States
going.
anymore. For some, that's a true
Let's get
story.
this over with.
Others, it's kind of
There's
iffy,
not much time.
depending on certain things.
This
But
world never
the point is, and the point stands, that in a nutshell,
Push ahead.
these people are coming
Nothing
up
stands in my
to
way.
better themselves, but they're not bettering themselves in a way where they would go back and better their own home country. It's like, nope, we're just here for the money. Woohoo! Money, basically.
Nothing stands in my
Now
way.
people might sit there and say, okay, Ghost Hunter, yeah, those are all the points, But have you ever considered that they're running from something?
There's not much
Yeah,
time.
Mexico and some other countries are pretty darn corrupt. I'll give them that.
Nefesh,
Oh yeah, I'll give
I
them
didn't
that.
have much
Pretty
hope
darn
of
corrupt.
finding you alive at this point. The Protoss will pay.
But anyway, you know, this is all just, you know, building up.
Flash freeze.
I mean, if you
coming
want to
in
be
soon.
technical here, I mean, think about this for a minute.
The
Some
swarm
of the
never
most
rests.
ethnically pure countries are Japan and I believe Norway. And people sit there and say, what do you mean ethnically
Push ahead.
pure? As in, almost everybody there can find or
stands
you
in
can
my way.
see that that the people there are still the
This
same.
world is
Oh, they
mine.
can trace their lineage back for hundreds of years. They haven't
The
moved
swarm never rests.
around. They haven't had
We should
intermixing
wait
with
for a flash freeze
different
before attacking
ethnicities.
this large Protoss
And
force.
does the international community
flash
say,
freeze
"Hey,
storm
Japan,
has hit."
we think you need to invite
Get
more
going.
black people"? No.
Nothing
Or do they go to
stands in
nowhere?
my way.
Hey, you need to have more black people in this country. No. Do they sit there
There's not much
and say
time.
you need to bring in Africans, Taiwanese, whatever? They
Get this
don't
over with.
do that. Why do they
The
not
swarm
do
never
that?
rests.
Because the truth
Push ahead.
of the matter is that if racism, ethnicism, whatever
Nothing stands in
was
my way.
viewed as a big problem like YouTube claims it
There's not much
is,
time.
or well, not YouTube, excuse me, the media claims
Get
it is,
going.
then why aren't they jumping on countries with heavy,
Let's get this over with.
heavy majority ethnic people of a certain ethnicity? Why aren't they cracking down on those countries and saying, hey, you need to bring in more of these people, you need to bring more of this in? Why isn't the international community doing that?
The swarm
I'll
never rests.
tell you why, and I will tell you right now. It's
Get this
because
over with.
racism is a divisive tool to use against people, especially in the United States, because there are so many different ethnicities in the United States that there's still the melting pot effect. And because there's the melting pot effect, these people seem to think, oh, well, if all these people start getting along and we start blending cultures, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, oh golly, we now have a problem. With all these people getting along, they could become a threat.
Flash freeze
Now,
storm has
jokes
arrived.
and theories aside, because that's all that is at this point is a theory. The point is that
Let's get this over
all
with.
of
There's not much
this
time.
stuff,
The swarm
in
never rests.
a nutshell,
Who asked you?
is just divisive. It's
Nothing
designed to
stands in
make
my
people
way.
fight. That's all it is. You don't like someone because they're from Asia. You don't like this person because they have African heritage or they're from Africa. Whatever. All it is divisive. It doesn't. Has any of this solved
I feel
any
stronger.
problems anywhere in the world?
Push ahead.
This decisiveness.
Get
No,
going.
it hasn't.
We should wait for
I
a
mean,
flash freeze
this is
before
about
attacking this heavily
as
fortified location.
useful to humanity
A
as
flash freeze
tribalism
storm has
is.
hit.
Now, people sit there and say, oh, tribalism, isn't that the differences between tribes? Okay, go watch the HBO Spartacus series where you talk about Celts and Gauls, or Gaelic and Celts, who are basically people of similar tribes around what is now modern day France and England. I mean, if you were to go to Wales, Ireland, or certain parts, and if you were to sit there and start referring to people as Englishmen, they actually might get mad at you. Why might they get mad at you? Because if you sit there and refer to someone who views themselves as Welsh, not English, Welsh, they'll get mad at you. Because they're not English,
The
they're
flash
Welsh.
freeze is ending.
Or if you go to Ireland, where it's mostly where it's the UK controlled Ireland and then Ireland itself, if you sit there and walk up to an Irishman or whoever, Irish lady, whatever, and you walk up
Push
to them
ahead.
and say, "Hey, aren't you English?"
This world is
they're going to get mad at you. The same thing if you go up to a person who's Scottish and say, aren't you English? No, they're all going to give you the same response. I'm not English, I'm Scottish. All the same darn thing. That's all this is. It's divisive. These people just want to get rid of the unity. Why do you think the UK is called the United Kingdom? Because it's united of the kingdoms of England, Scotland, a little bit of Ireland, Wales, and all those other places. It's all divisive. Yet all these people are Caucasian, yet they view themselves in this light. It's not hard to figure out that ethnicity or ethnicism is just one big divisive tool to use against us plebeians.
What's the point?
Now, can people sit there and say, oh wait, Ghost Hunter, wouldn't you date someone of a different ethnicity? Yeah, I got no problem with that. I don't really care.
Keep her alive for now.
But, you know, that's just my personal opinion. Others, not so much. But in any case, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see everybody in the next video.